The role of a Scrum Master in a PI planning event. As you can see, I am very excited today because this has been a highly requested video and I'm so happy that I've done my best to be able to bring this to you today. For those who don't know me, my name is Karen Fomafung, your Agile Evangelist, and welcome to my channel. So here we talk about agile product development, we talk about project management, we give practical tips on how to be effective on the ground as an agile practitioner. And for those looking to transition into this field, this is a space for you. Here is the safest space where you can learn and grow and fail fast and learn fast, and no one is judging you. Why? Because we all are here to learn and thrive in this agile space. So, what is the role of a Scrum Master in a PI planning? Before we address this topic, if this is your first time here again, please do your best to click that subscription button and the notification bell so you will not miss out on any of the useful content we share here. And if you're a returning subscriber, a returning viewer, please, as usual, share, like, and show your support. Always appreciate it. Now, there is a difference between an ordinary or a basic Scrum Master and an extraordinary Scrum Master. And the tips that we share here today is to help those looking to be extraordinary, so that when you go into that environment, you are not going there to fit in. No, that's not what we do. You are going to stand out. And how are you able to stand out? You're going to stand out by the value that you are bringing to the organization, by the impact that you will be creating in the organization. That is how you are able to stand out. So let's talk about the role of a basic Scrum Master in the PI planning. As a basic Scrum Master, as the PI planning is approaching, you will wait. And then during the time of the event, or when the event starts, what you will be doing is you are facilitating, you're helping, guiding your team to ensure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing in a PI planning. That is, you'll be watching out for dependencies, ensuring that they're identifying these dependencies, they are discussing them, they're identifying risk, they are discussing them, they have a plan set on how they want to address all these dependencies. You are also ensuring that they are keeping in mind the items that they are supposed to be working on in the upcoming PI, you see. So they are planning their work, and you will be coordinating all of that, coordinating conversation among all the other stakeholders to ensure that your team is planning on the right items, you see, that are most important to the customers. And then you ensure that your retrospective happens, you close out the event, and then you all go to your team and you start doing your work. So as you are doing the work, that's it. As a Scrum Master, you're just there and you say, okay, the team has already planned, so they should be fine. Now they already know what they should be doing, and then you expect the team to just execute the work and everything is fine. Well, but there is a difference between that and an extraordinary Scrum Master. So if you want to be different in a good way in your organization, here are some 3 areas or 3 categories that your help will be absolutely necessary as a Scrum Master. Number 1, you will prepare, you will guide, and then you will follow up throughout the events, the upcoming of the events of the PI planning, and during the execution of the different sprints, which in SAFe it is called the different iterations. So what do you do in that environment as a Scrum Master? First of all, your activities have been divided into 3 different categories. That is for extraordinary Scrum Masters, Scrum Masters that wants to be outstanding. Being outstanding in this whole agile space, the number 1 secret is being proactive. Secondly, be able to communicate. That is, you should be a good communicator. And then third, you should be a fantastic, you should be very comfortable with following up, you see. So the things that you will be doing to help your team be effective during their PI planning are divided into 3 categories. Number 1, prepare. Number 2, guide. And then number 3, you follow up. Those are the 3 categories of things that you will be doing from a Scrum Master perspective in the PI planning. Now, let's start from preparing. As a Scrum Master, for you to be sure and to ensure that the outcome of your PI planning is effective, what do? That is, if you are following a quarterly PI planning, so 3 to 2 weeks, approximately between 3 and 2 weeks to the start of the next PI planning, I am already start preparing for the upcoming PI planning. I'm already start preparing. So how do I prepare towards that? Again, under this prepare, there are different categories of people or stakeholders that I have to be collaborating with to ensure that our PI planning is effective. The first person is the PO. So how do I collaborate with the PO? From the Scrum Master and PO collaboration perspective, I am already proactively connecting with the PO to ensure that the PO has proactively taken care of the product roadmap. That is all of the epics and the features that has to be worked on in the upcoming program iteration is on the product roadmap. You see, so I am having this conversation with the PO, checking with the PO to ensure that the PO is on top of things. And not just that, I'm also ensuring that the PO, even if all the work items are preset in the product roadmap, the PO has all the information that the team will need to run this PI planning effectively ready. So all of the information is available in that one good place, whatever tool your organization is using. It may be Azure DevOps, it may be Jira, it may be Rally, it may be version 1, whatever your organization is using. I'm ensuring that all the details around the work items required, that will be required by the team to effectively understand the work and run with it, are in that one place, in that tool that you all are using. So that's the kind of collaboration I'll be doing with the PO during the phase that I'm preparing. And then the second stakeholder that I want to be having conversations with, it will be the architect, the design architect. So I'd want to make sure that the design architect is also ready. It's ready with the conversations that he would want to bring in front of leadership during the events of the PI planning to ensure that we are in sync with the design of the work for this upcoming PI. So I'm already proactively reaching out to the architect, just checking in to ensure that he is on top of things and we are set to go. And then the third kind of stakeholder that I'll be having conversations with is the release train engineer. I'm having conversations with the release train engineer to confirm that the release plan is set, the release plan is pre-ready, and with that conversation, that is room to identify any, potential dependencies, impediments. So all of these different categories of stakeholders that I have discussed already, yes, as we are proactively having this conversation, we are also checking around dependencies around any of these things that they are accountable for. You see, dependencies, risk, and all of these things, we are checking on that already, and we are capturing them in that one place, whatever tool your organization is using. Last week, I made a video on tools to track dependencies and risk. So yeah, that will be the tool that you will use as you're having these conversations. You are proactively identifying these things and you're keeping track of them. So that will be the other stakeholder that I'll address. And then last but not the least stakeholder is the entire team, especially the developers. I'm proactively touching base with them, having conversations with them so that we can plan for capacity. What is the capacity for this upcoming PI? What are the known holidays during this upcoming program iteration, during this upcoming quarter? What are the known holidays? Who plans to be on any leave? All of these kind of things, we are discussing them proactively so that our capacity will be accurate or close to accurate. So, and then in addition to discussing capacity with the entire team, we are also discussing impediments. We are also discussing dependencies, any potential risk. We are discussing them, and we are tracking all of these things in one place. And then all these things that I have proactively coordinated with these different stakeholders, we will be bringing these things into the PI planning as an input. And not just from a team perspective, we are not only discussing with that team. So as we start discussing proactively and we identify any dependencies and risk, we also want to see if these dependencies are within our team or we are also depending on other teams. And then I want to proactively start reaching out to the leads of those other teams, like their Scrum Masters or maybe their product owner, and we start having conversation on how we want to sequence these dependencies, and so that as they're preparing for their own, they would also take these things into consideration, and then we bring these as an input to our PI planning. Once we are able to do that during the live event of the PI planning, you will realize that you're not stressed, you're not pressured. But the mistake that most teams make and most Scrum Masters make is that they will wait, and then since they say the event is a 2 days event, they will wait, and then when they are live during that event, that is when they want to start doing all those things that they should have already proactively done. So the benefit of proactively doing these things is so that when we get to that meeting, just like backlog refinement sessions, you are not stressed. You find yourself just flowing with your teams, and every stakeholder is already playing their own part, and things will just go smoothly as planned. Now, that is it for the prepared phase. After the prepared phase, the next thing I will do as a Scrum Master is I'm guiding the teams. That is live. Once the event starts, what I'm doing is I'm guiding the teams to ensure that they are running the event according to how it's supposed to be, because sometimes some may not have a good understanding, some may have a good understanding. So again, the purpose of this PI planning is aligning with stakeholders. So I am ensuring that we are reflecting the purpose of this PI planning. Now what I would do again as a Scrum Master is, especially in an environment that has a release train engineer, it's a partnership thing. I am partnering with the release train engineer and the other Scrum Masters, and we are facilitating the event together. We are facilitating the event together, and as that is going on, and it gets to that phase where we are supposed to go in our breakout rooms, I would be in the breakout rooms with my team, and guide them to ensure that they are planning based on what is most important to the customers, and they are having that back and forth conversation between the PO and themselves, and to ensure that they're clearly understanding what is asked of them, and there is alignment, that consensus. I'm ensuring that they are following the 3C approach, and they are having that consensus. So that's really what I am doing. And now, once we are doing that, we are also, all of these things that we've already proactively identified, like the dependencies, like the risk, it doesn't only end there. Live during the meeting, I am double checking if anything has changed from the last time we had conversations during the preparing phase. I'm checking if anything has changed. If anything has changed around the dependencies that we've already proactively identified, around the risk, around the capacity, we want to adjust based on that. So I am triggering conversations around these things so that we can adjust. Now, once that is done, I also ensure that once we come back as a team, the vote of confidence happens. And once that vote of confidence happens, so I'll see that as some consensus. We all are getting consensus or confirming that, yes, we are ready. We are ready to go. And after that, as a Scrum Master, I am facilitating the retrospective. So the way it typically happens is that the release train engineer will facilitate the retro for the entire thing. But before that phase even happens, as a Scrum Master, I have already facilitated a little retrospective once myself and my team have round up with everything we were doing in the breakout room. I facilitated a quick retro, and then when we get back to the main room, that is the release train engineer can now facilitate the retro for the entire session. But again, remember, I said this is a partnership thing. Sometimes anybody can facilitate it. Anybody can facilitate it as we support the release training engineer so that we all are doing this thing together, you see. And once that is done, that is it. We go our way. Now, again, from a Scrum Master perspective, it doesn't end there. Remember, I've talked about the preparedness. I've talked about guiding the teams when the event is happening live. And then the last category of the thing that I'll be doing is following up, you see. So as the various sprints in that whole PI plan is running, I am following up to ensure that what we have planned, the work that is going, the work is being executed according to the plan. If anything has changed, what is it that have changed? Let us discuss it. Let us identify these things and let us adjust, quickly, so that we remain on track towards achieving the goal for that quarter, you see. And if for whatever reason we perceived that we'll not be achieving the goal for that quarter, okay, let us escalate this. So that's the communication that I'm talking about. You have to be very proactive. You have to be very communicative. That is collaborative. Remember the 3 C's of leadership and communication. What are the 3 C's? Communicate, communicate, communicate. Those are the 3 C's. So I'm ensuring that I'm doing that so that we all remain aligned. Leadership, teams, that is inter teams and external teams. We remain aligned based on the plan for the program for that quarter. So those are the things that I have done as a Scrum Master in the PI planning to help my teams be very effective and efficient. And as usual, I hope this video was helpful. If you have other thoughts, as you all know, leverage the comment section. Tell me how you feel about this video. Tell me what you think and share your own opinion, share your own experience so that together we all can continuously learn and grow in this beautiful Agile journey. Someone said, Karen, to you, anything Agile is beautiful. Yes, to me, anything Agile is beautiful, regardless of whether it's challenging or it's smooth. It's beautiful because at the end of the day, we are learning something. Thank you so much. And again, my name is Karen Fomafung. Hope to see you next time.